The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Hi, I'm your host, Karen Miranda. Welcome to Whispers from the Other Side. We are coming to you live from QA TV, Channel 8 in Quincy, Massachusetts. The lines are now open, so feel free to call. And also, our loved ones are gone but not forgotten, and just a thought away. I have some fun things I want to some nice experiences I want to share with you guys tonight at home. At one time, I can remember my friend Mike Woods. Somebody just asked me about how I was led to the station. My friend Mike, who's now since passed away, in 2011, actually, the last month and the last day of the month, I was led to the Quincy Access Television, where I became an independent public community producer. And he was kind of funny, and fun-loving guy when he was here, the Mike I knew. And it was funny because one time when I was doing a reading at his house, where he lived, I said to him, I gotta tell you something, Mike, because I'm a clairsentient medium, so I'm gonna stick with the feeling part of it for a little while tonight. And he said, what, Karen? I said, I have a fun-loving young person that's around. He's African-American, has his hair was really bushy and things like that. And he looked at me and he said, so tell me more. So it was kind of funny. And I said, all right. And he was going back and forth on a skateboard, and he was being quite comical with me. And he was saying, Mr. Woods, Mr. Woods, and Mike knew exactly who it was that was coming through from the other side. So it was just this fun-loving energy. You don't change when you're on the other side. You know what I'm saying? You press it all, you stay the same. From the other, when you're on the other side, it doesn't change. So, hi Joanne, welcome to Whispers from the Other Side. Hello? Are you there?
Hello?
Hi, how are you tonight?
Good, you?
Good, very good. Have you ever been to a medium before?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just gonna get going with you, okay? If that's okay. Yes, if you want to stay, no, if you don't.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you want to know anything afterwards, or anything you want to know spiritually, or anything about mediumship, feel free after your reading is done, okay?
Okay.
And if it doesn't make sense to say, I don't understand, but that can happen too with communication with the other side too as well. It just depends on who's going to step forward. I'm a clairvoyant, clairsentient medium. And I'm going to get going with you because I have, and I get a lot of old people too sometimes, so I do have a grandfather figure that's around you. Is your grandfather on the other side?
Yes, but I never met him.
Okay, that's okay, and stuff like that, but I also feel a motherly vibration that's around you tonight, that's on the other side. Is your mom passed away?
Yes.
Because she's around you. Just to let you know that. She's not coming in very clear, but this is how she was in life. You know what I'm saying? She was quiet when she was here, but when she was, does that make sense?
Not quiet at all.
Oh yeah, did stuff like that, but very fun-loving too with you guys and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like sitting there saying, I'm trying to have her come forward because I wouldn't normally go to something like this, but that would make sense to you.
She went to what?
No, she would, she's being really shy with me right now and stuff like that. That's why it's coming in with her like this. I'm getting an average height with Mom.
Yep.
Okay, average height. Yeah, and her hair cut short to the head.
Yep.
And stuff like that. She's starting to really come alive, and that would make sense to you.
Right.
and stuff like that. Very lively in life and very lively on the other side with her personality and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I'm like this because she can't stop smiling.
Yeah.
And that would make sense, and that was her, you know?
Yeah.
And she said, Joanne still wonders if I'm okay. And she said, telling me to tell you she is. And she's happy that she doesn't have to clean house anymore.
Yeah.
And that would make sense to you.
Yeah.
Because she ran the whole house when you guys were there, Joanne. And
Yeah.
stuff, and kept the family together
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And she's being quite comical with me, actually. And she's saying, I'm so glad I don't have to worry about cooking for everybody anymore. That would make a whole lot of sense to you.
Yeah.
But she always made sure you guys had full bellies and clothes to wear and sneakers on your feet. Because she's sharing memories with me right now and stuff like that. Beautiful when she was younger. At least she thought so. Would that make sense too?
Yeah.
She's very beautiful, very, you know, she's moving around again. And she's so happy because she couldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And not mobile like at the end where, you know what I'm saying, where her sickness got to her uncle. That's what was due to her crossing, was her sickness, and that would make sense to you.
Yeah.
My throat is getting all choked up right now because of the, you know, with not being able to drink or eat at the very end of her crossing. That would make sense to you.
That's correct.
And she's saying, I'm so glad. She just she didn't want to be in the body she was in anymore. And she
Right.
fought the fight. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But then her disease got the best of her, and you would know that too.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and she's saying, I remembered, and I'm going to give this to you. She loved to read a lot.
Oh, bingo. Bingo.
Okay, because I have a woman that's around you that is doing a lot of reading with a book in her hands as well. And she's with your
Right.
mom over there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's making sense to you or not.
Yes.
Okay, because they're together, and I'm feeling like an aunt or something like that with your mom. Is your aunt? Do you have an aunt in spirit too?
Yes.
Okay, because she's with your mom, by the way,
Yes.
and they're trying to out-talk each other. It's actually too funny with them, both of them, and trying
Yes,
to. But
yes.
that's how they work, because their personalities are coming in with me right now.
Yeah.
And your aunt would say, "Not right now. I'm reading a good book," and that would make sense to you.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of like family resemblance with you, with the family that's on the other side. Does that make sense too?
Very much so.
Yeah, and your mom and your aunt looked a little bit alike, actually a lot alike, and that would make sense too.
No, one was French, one was
Oh,
Irish.
don't give me any information. All right, but no, but you and your mom looked alike.
Yes.
Okay,
that's
so I'm
it.
gonna say don't give me any information, but that's okay. Yeah, because your mom is like out drowning your aunt's energy, but that would make sense to you because your mom always got the last word in too.
Yeah.
And she's
Yeah.
sharing her memories with me, and she's just so glad, like she doesn't have to depend on anybody anymore. Beautiful. You
Yeah.
know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And she got self-conscious about her hair too, and that would
Yeah.
make sense. Yeah, because she said, "I'm trying to hide my thinning hair," and you would
Yeah.
understand exactly what she's talking about. Because she used to wrap it up in a towel.
Yeah.
She's been around me since last week, by the way. Because I said, "I don't know who you are, but if you're from my show, come back." And she doesn't have to wear it anymore. When she'd come out of the
Right.
shower, she would still leave it on because of her thinning hair. It was really bad. But that was just due
Right.
to her illness that she had. You know exactly what she's talking about
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And she said, "I'm so glad I don't have to wear the towel around my hair anymore." And I'm trying to give you that.
Yeah.
And my eyes all cleared up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you needed to hear that. And she's doing wonderful, by the way. And I'm seeing somebody with rosary beads. I don't know if that's making sense to you, or getting rosaries
Yeah.
with somebody. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm glad, because she's saying, "I put them down. I don't pray them anymore." And she's telling me to tell you that, but in a good way, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, and I also have a father figure that's with her. Is your dad over there?
Yeah.
Yep, and Dad is with her.
Yeah.
And they're not alone, they're together.
Right.
It was
Right.
kind of like an in and out relationship with them, but that would make sense to you?
A little bit.
Yeah, and that's why I said, I don't want to get personal with you guys. That's your private business, you know what I'm saying? So that's too funny, and I'm glad that makes sense. But your mom isn't listening anymore. She goes, oh, man, like that. And that's exactly how she would do it. And that would make sense to you, too.
She was the boss.
Yeah, oh, yeah, she was funny. She's funny, and she said, I'm not taking any guff from anybody.
Yeah.
And that is just too funny because I'm getting more of her personality right now with her. And she's saying, and I don't have to worry about burning anything when I cook anymore either.
Right.
Because she used to get takeout treats sometimes because she wasn't a very good cook, she's telling me.
Right, right.
Yeah, so it's really funny. She actually put something on fire, started a little fire at one point with her cooking. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, so I'm glad, and she's just being too funny. And darn it, I don't like these things. I'm just glad, like, I don't have to depend on things anymore to breathe. Would that make sense to you?
Oh, very much so.
Oh, she's just so glad she doesn't have to depend on machines or any kind of like extra things. And she's breathing a lot easier. That's why it's coming in like this. And I'm more coherent now, too.
Yeah, yeah,
Much confusion just at the very end. And I'm going to tell you this, but at the end, though, as confused as she was, she became alert at the very end of her crossing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And she said to somebody, I love you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Just before that's what I call a clincher in the reading. Your mom's all around you in a very big way. And she's got all her beautiful looks. And is just so glad that she doesn't have to depend on anybody anymore. And there's something about a blue rosary bead she's showing me right now.
Yes.
Does somebody still have those?
Yeah.
I'm thanking her for the clencher. That's what she's telling me. And she said, I learned not to pray so much anymore. But she came out of her confused state to the end and looked at you, somebody that was in the room with her, and said, I love you.
I can't hear you.
No.
Hello?
At the end of her, are you still there? Do you hear me now?
Yeah.
That's why it's coming in like that, because of her voice just kind of died down, which was getting ready to cross, where she wasn't speaking so loud.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But she came out of the comatose state and said to you guys, I love you. Does that make sense?
Yes, very much.
And she's saying to me to give you the message, I love you still.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing Mom with me tonight. And put the prayer books away. They don't have to keep them out anymore. Just let you know that. That would make sense too. Yeah, and that's her message to you is I love you.
Okay.
And thank you for sharing that special piece of evidence with me too. And thank you for sharing your mom and aunt with me tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Joanne. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. I love when they do that, because when they get sharing their memories with me, it's their thoughts and their memories that are coming in. So I'm sitting there going, I'm going to tell it. But sometimes if you guys at home, if they're getting too personal with me, you can say to me, it's okay to say, I don't want to hear from that person that's coming through. If somebody's coming through that you don't want to hear from, or if there is somebody coming through and you definitely do want to hear from them, and I want to thank Joanne, because that was a very special piece of evidence. And thank you very much for validating that with me. I'm going to get back to my friend Mike. Yeah, he was too funny. And when Jeremy was coming through and his reading from me, he was all over the place. Like we said, no, that's why he came to me, because I could be all over the place too. And it was just too funny. And that was just his fun-loving way of playing with Mike. And I just found out a while ago, and I know we shared this a while back, but I know his birthday's coming up in October, that I didn't know he had passed away, and he had been over there a couple of years. And somebody said to me, oh my God, Karen, Mike, you didn't know? I said, no, because I got out of touch with everybody. That I used to be in a development circle and stuff like that, and I didn't keep in touch with any other mediums, because I tried to walk away from this stuff for a long time. And one time, my daughter's friend's mom would come and visit us, and she'd say, okay, Karen, who's around me? And it was too funny because when they came to visit one time, and they didn't even get in the door. They just came right in. And I said, you guys got to come over here for a minute. And they did. They came and sat down. And they said to me, I said, your family's all around you, not their mom, because their mom was alive. But just to let you know that somebody was around her from the family. Okay. That was around me from the other side. That was like, they understood all the information, and I did go after them like game busters. And sometimes I got to remember, you can't do that, Karen. Hi, Noel. Welcome to Whispers from the Other Side.
Hi, Karen. How are you tonight?
Good. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm good. Just relaxing. You know.
Could you just speak up a little louder? And if you have your speakerphone on, just turn it off. Thanks.
Can you hear me good now?
Yes, I can hear you much better.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and I wanted to thank you for, I know that was your friend that passed away that you didn't know about, so thank you so very much for sharing that. And I'm glad you actually called, because they do come back. He wanted to let you know, Noel, that he was at peace.
Oh, okay.
And that his death was a fast death, and you didn't understand why, because it came so unexpectedly that day.
Yeah. It was a what that happened that day?
Yeah, and stuff like that. And he said, I had to let her know and stuff like that, but his message to you was, as I'm at peace though, and by crossing, it was really fast.
It was really fast? And
it came so unexpectedly. Nobody in the family, everybody was surprised.
Yeah.
Because he was so young when he passed. I know you were hoping to hear from him, so I'm going to stick with him just for a couple of minutes, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And my passing was so very, very fast that it came so unexpectedly that, he's being quite the hot ticket though, because he used to joke around. I know you didn't know him very well, but he was humorous in his own right with everything.
Right.
And that would make sense to you. He's saying to say surprise to you. I had to give that to you because he just won't stop smiling.
Oh, well, that makes me so happy.
Yeah, and he's happy. And I said, okay, I have to wait till I hear from her again. But he's just saying about the crossing. And he's also saying, I found peace within myself, but you wouldn't know what he's talking about.
I think I would. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but you got to find out if you don't understand, okay? But somebody in his family would understand.
Okay.
And everything like that. And he said, well, I'll always be young anyways, and that would make a lot of sense to you.
Yeah.
Because that's how he was, like with his personality and stuff like that. He was quiet though, too. Average height of a fellow. I'm getting, like the average height, I'm going up to the higher end of the 5'6". You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Around 5'7", and that range. Does that make sense? There's somebody around you. I'm getting somebody from Spirit that was around 5'7" with you.
5'7". Is it male or?
Okay, so I'm going to ask him back up. But you more or less wanted to hear from your friend anyway, so I'm going to stick with him for a couple of more minutes.
Okay.
And he said, just the breath with him.
The what with him?
With the breathing with him.
Yeah.
And it was like fast and boom, and there was nothing that anybody could do for him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's where he said to me, I'm enjoying my music and boom, boom, boom. And she was just getting to know me, you know what I'm saying? And there was issues there, but they're private. And you didn't know about them, that would make sense to you.
Okay.
Okay?
There's issues on his side?
Yeah. And he said to me, it's just the way things happened, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? To lose somebody young like that and things. Yeah. And I'm still seeing somebody is driving wildly on the other side that's a little bit older, heavy with the foot.
A little bit older.
And if you don't understand, that could be for somebody else at home, but you were really hoping that you would hear from your friend and stuff like that.
Yeah,
he said to me, he goes,
definitely.
We were just getting to know each other, but when you're outside in the nature and soaking up the good air, he'll be with you, and that would make sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and he's enjoying, I don't know if it was him, but I'm seeing somebody with a skateboard.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay, so that's good. I'm glad you can understand that, because maybe he's with Jeremy. The nice young man that I was sharing about my friends,
Yeah.
that passed away. Because he's out enjoying it. And I don't have to worry about getting in trouble either.
Oh, well, that's good. That's really
Yeah,
good.
it's just, he's just being quite humorous with me right now with the joking and the carrying on. And
yeah.
I would show up unexpectedly and surprise her when he'd come in. And in brown hair,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm seeing somebody with you that had brown hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does that make sense? I'm glad I'm feeling him. Yeah, with brown hair. Thank you, and stuff like that. And he's like, I met up with my grandfather on the other side.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm glad it does, because they're together. He's not alone. He also wanted you to know that I'm not alone over here.
Yeah.
Because you were wondering, he said she's still really sad, because it's what we call a fresh death.
Yeah.
And, when somebody comes in spontaneously like that, because, nobody started coming.
Right. Did he have feelings for me?
Yeah.
He did?
Yeah, and I'm sitting there going, but he says, you're supposed to go on with your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you needed to hear that, though, and that would make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was hard, saying, just.
Yeah.
I felt like he just left me,
And I understand that, but he's just saying, I'm with you, and when we were out at the beach, I'll be holding your hand.
Aw,
that would make a lot of sense to you.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling he came to you in a dream or something just recently.
I felt his presence a lot, after.
Okay, because I'm just saying, but if he comes in a dream, just let you know that's called a visit. That's real.
Yeah.
And for the feeling part of him being around you, that's him just letting you know I'm with her. I'm just not in my physical body, but I'm in my spiritual body.
Yeah.
And just go out and remember, even though you only know him a short time, he's just saying, just go out and I'll be with you. That's his message to you. He's with you.
He doesn't have to be with me, but I feel bad about that.
Yeah. And he's out skateboarding tonight.
Oh, he is?
Just to let you know that. And when you go on your skateboard, he's going to be with you.
I got to pick one up from Amazon.
Yeah. But just to let you know that. And I also I'm feeling a grandmotherly vibration that's around you, too.
Okay.
Is your grandmother over there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's all around you, just doing all the stuff she used to do. And she's keeping everybody in line like she used to when she was here. And this is how her personality is coming in with me. But they're all together, just to let you know that.
Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
And your friend and your friend is saying, go out and enjoy the ride.
Go out and enjoy the ride.
That would make sense.
Yeah, that does make sense.
And he said, I'm not going to be doing any more late night visits, but I might now. I could probably come around at 3 in the morning now, because he used to come around, you know what I'm saying, at crazy hours and stuff like that, and just showed up, and that would make a lot of sense to you.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to thank you for sharing, Noelle.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. You were spot on. Last time I called in, I had no idea that the person I cared about had passed away, and you were spot on with it.
Yeah.
So
no, thank you so very, very
much.
Thank you so very, very much, Noelle.
Right. No problem. Thank you, Karen.
Have a good night. And don't forget to go out and enjoy the ride tonight, because it's a nice night to be on your skateboard, and he's going to be right next to you. But make sure you have reflectors on it or something.
All right. Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Yeah, unexpected deaths is when it's spontaneous like that, and it's so unexpected. And she did call my last show, and she didn't realize he had passed away. And I'm always learning and growing with my gifts. That's why I share a lot of stuff that I learned with you guys at home, because that way if you're experiencing something, just go, oh, I know what that is and what that's about. And it just happened like that day. And I was like, oh God, and I felt so bad, you know, and stuff like that, but she was happy. And, you know, for the longest time, he kind of hung around me, you know, well, I just wanted to tell you that, just because where it was quick with his passing, he wanted you to know that I'm at peace, and I found peace within my passing, and just to let you know that too. And just remember even though you know each other briefly, just remember the fun things you did. I tell everybody that all the time. Life is just too short, you know, and stuff like that, to let you know that as well. And anyways, back to Mr. Woods. So it was really funny. We used to kind of like in fun though, be hiding each other as mediums and things like that. We used to, you know, criticize each other in a fun way, but it's a good thing because it makes you just better at what you do. And he was funny because when he did the platform, when the students, they have a student thing at the church, when he got up, I was like, oh, you know, like that with Mike, and it was just too funny. A little hard on him, but in a kind way, in a loving way. And so he kind of like took it personal because you guys out there, you know, even though you won't admit it, you guys are sensitive too. So it was really funny. So he kind of took what I said to heart. And so a couple of weeks later, when it was my turn to get up on the platform, and you know, I always get really nervous before I do a show, but I've learned to bring that nervous energy up in my readings. So it was just too funny with Mike. He said stuff to me after I was done, well, blah, blah, blah with you. And I'm like sitting there saying, oh boy, but I only give what I'm getting. So if it makes sense, that's great. If it doesn't make sense, then that will happen too, not making the connection. Sometimes you want to hear so bad from somebody, the connection just isn't there with them. And, you know, that's why it's always like, all right, and it's okay if, you know, you're not ready to come through yet and things like that. Because I said to myself, sometimes it just depends on the person's energy, of how strong your energy is too. That, you know, has a part to do with it, and your beliefs a little bit too. But, you know, when you die spontaneous like that, I just want to let you guys know that you're at peace. Well, at least with my beliefs, and it's been proven to me so many times, and that you do find peace within. And a couple of questions have been asked throughout the years with my gifts, because this has been a lifetime journey with me, with my spiritual growth, because I'm learning and growing every day too as medium. And these are your feelings that I'm dealing with, you know, and it's very real and stuff like that. So what it is I had to, with spiritual gifts, of one of the questions that people ask, death, because death is unknown for a lot of people, so it's more the fear of the unknown, of what lies ahead when you do cross over. And it's just the unknown with stuff that, you know, even I still have answers sometimes too, you know, and stuff like that. And so it's just the unknown. The other question sometimes I get asked, are we alone on the other side? Most definitely not. And just to let you guys know that your families and friends are there waiting for you on the other side when you get ready to cross over, which is good too. And I have somebody around me in the studio right now that had a really difficult time with the breathing and stuff like that, because that's why it's coming in a little confused too as well. So that's why you can see me acting this way. That's why, because I'm feeling this woman that died very, very young and stuff like that. But it's just the fear of the unknown, and, you know, just let you know that. And people are not, and that's another big question. Are we alone when we cross over to the other side? And I said, no, most definitely not. Your families and friends that have gone before you are there to greet you when you cross over to the other side. It's just not in our physical form, but in our spiritual body, but sometimes it can be physical too. They'll just manifest. It depends on how their energies are, when it goes back to the energy thing again. Just to fill you in on that. And it was really interesting because I had an experience not too long ago when this fun-loving woman that came in and with the personality part of the gifts, it was just too funny. And it was for somebody that was helping me with something, Colette. And I said, you know, so-and-so's around you again. And Colette said, oh, really? Because she'd love to hear from the friend Gail. And sometimes the people that are deceased will come back for messages too. It's repetition, and it can be quite comical and stuff like that. And she said, if that was me, I'd be, you know, at the bar smoking up a storm and having cigarettes and being out hanging out with my friends. And you guys are, you're hanging out, but just with Gail, it's different. I just had to share that with the personality part of it, and it was really kind of funny. Names. Sometimes with names, they have been getting better. And energy shifts. When somebody, you know, a loved one that passes away, like with me, energies shift. And like before, I was never that good at names. So when I get names sometimes, I swear to God, Mike is up to his old self on the other side, in a fun-loving way. But he was very good at names and stuff like that. And I, you know, get the common ones and stuff like that. But it was just like recently since his passing that with the name thing has gotten better, you know, and I don't question how spirit communicates with me anymore. I did when I first started to develop, but then I had to really learn to trust. Trust was a biggie with me, you know, and stuff like that, being brought up Italian Catholic, so, you know, you didn't talk about such things back in the early 70s. So with me, it just trust, and I get that a lot with people that are on the other side, our deceased loved ones. So, you know, with trust, and I'm still having a hard time breathing, so somebody's around me in the studio that's hanging out. But I also have a woman that's with me, and she passed away in the emergency room when she went in for surgery. They started the procedure with her, but all of a sudden everything went wrong, and her death just came unexpectedly. So I got to put that out there if anybody can understand who this is. She died in her 40s, so I just had to put it out there because it just came so unexpectedly with her, and I just had to tell you guys and stuff like that. So, you know, but anyways, as medium, I do not have all the answers, but I'm just sharing some information with you of what I have learned throughout the years. The other question is, what happens to us? Are we gonna be alone and stuff like that? No. And I know I said that a couple minutes ago, but I just had to repeat that. I can't stress it enough. And I'm gonna get going with the woman. I'm gonna put her on the paper, and I'm gonna get her hair up in a minute. But that's what I'm going to give you some answers, just because some questions that you guys might have at home too to explain with the question and answers, you know, and I hope that was a help to you guys, you know, that I want to share some of that with you. I'm not good at the afro thing, but I'm going to start drawing her and getting the afro in. And I like to explain how, you know, when I'm drawing of what's going on and how they, you know, looked. And I'm feeling very dizzy right now too with the lady before she went in for her surgery, just to let you know that. So if anyone's at home, you can call the station. There's a number there on the bottom with the graphic. Her hair kind of came down long with the afro a little bit. And she had a big, big nose, actually, too, just to let you know that. Widened in the face with the heaviness. Sometimes I say to my daughter, Michelle, I miss the good old days. When my kids were little, I used to draw stick people on their lunch bags. And I miss the good old days when they could tell a story about what's going on in the lunch bag. I miss those days a lot. And I got asked about, when you die, it's just unconditional love. It's just so unconditional love. This is what she looks like. And I got the afro in. She had thick, thick eyebrows and dark brown eyes and the big lips, and she was kind of heavy set and stuff like that. So I just had to explain that to you guys at home. Fun-loving, but serious too. And one time when I was younger and I, was going through all the, why and all this stuff with this stuff, and I was asking a family member, God rest her soul, she's over on the other side in spirit. She was one of my favorite aunts, actually. It is inherited sometimes, mediumship. And you do get curious and things like that. So it was kind of interesting when I went to my dad one time to say, you know how you believe in aliens? He says, yeah. Well, I have this going on with me. He says, don't question it, just accept it. I said, but I need some answers. And who had the gift in the family? And he said he didn't say anything to me. So I found out some interesting things, though, about my grandmother on my late mother's side of the family, that she had the psychic end of it. And everybody is a psychic, but not every psychic is a medium. I don't know how much I believe with that part, because I think everybody is a medium. It just depends on where you're at. But to get back to where I'm supposed to talk about, yeah, not every, and I said to him, but I need to know, because this is going on still. And he just kept saying, don't question it. So I said, all right. But I didn't listen to my father. I'm just me being me. So I said, I know who I can ask in the family. So I called my late Aunt Anne Marie up and I said to her, who had the gift in the family? And she told me, your grandmother did. I said, oh, really? That's really interesting, because Karen, what she used to do, for you guys out there with that side of the family, to fill you in a little family history, she would write notes down and predictions on a piece of paper. But then she said to me, Karen, she would just take them and fold them up in an envelope and put them away, and didn't realize, what she was doing. And I said, oh, okay, so this part of what happened made sense. I'll share that with you guys later. But she said that to me, and I'm like, oh, really? And she would look at the note a couple of months later when something happened. She, oh my God, she would, I don't know if she dated things down. I won't ever know the answer to that one. My aunt, God rest her soul. But she said, yeah, she had the psychic abilities. And the healing part of the gifts, there was another aunt I could call, because I didn't listen to my dad at all. I said, oh, he's too funny, but he believed in aliens. That's how we got started about all this stuff. And I said to him, I go, you know, you're not giving me any answers. Nope. And I said, okay, I'm going to call my late Auntie Eleanor up. So I called my Auntie Eleanor up. And I said to her, I'm doing some history with the family, with the mediumship stuff, with people that are coming through. And she said, you didn't know? I said, no, because my father wouldn't tell me. My kids call him Pa. But I said, Dad wouldn't tell me. He said, your grandmother actually had the healing part of the gifts. And I thought that was really interesting. So it is a family thing. Just to let you guys know where it runs in the family, it's generic and stuff like that. And I said to her, oh, thank you so much, because now I'm starting to get the answers to the pieces of the puzzle. You know, I said, okay, so this, and this. So, and I thanked my aunt very much. She goes, you know what though, Karen? I haven't heard from your Uncle Larry, and I have to share this with you guys at home. I said, oh, because he had passed away, and you know, her being old, up in the years a little bit. She said, I haven't heard from him, and I miss him dearly. And I said, okay. So one night I don't like always hearing them out of my head, and I said, okay. I was like 2 in the morning, spirit time, and all I heard was, Karen. And that's all I heard, but I recognized the voice. I said, okay, Uncle Larry, if this is you, can you please go to your my Auntie Eleanor, and let her know that it's you that's around her? And he didn't answer or anything, so I just had to learn to trust. So I let a couple of days go by and things like that, and she said, I decided I'm going to call Auntie Eleanor up. So I just called her up on the phone, and I said to her, how are you doing, and this and that. She was all excited, and I said, what's up? And she said to me, Karen, I woke up at 3 in the morning just a couple of days ago, and I heard your uncle's voice. I said, oh, that's so awesome, because you know me as medium, everything, you know, it's really cool and stuff like that. And I said, really? And she said, yeah, all he said was my name. And I just blurted out, oh, Uncle Larry, listen to me. She looked at me and she said, how did you know? I said, well, because he visited me a couple of days ago, but she missed her husband dearly. And I said, I want him to go to you so he could let you know that he's there. And she was so very, very thankful. And a couple of months later, it was Easter time, and we're getting ready, getting the kids together and all that good stuff. And I said to my late ex-husband, I said, I need to get Auntie Eleanor some lilies. He just looked at me, he said, you're kidding, right? I said, well, I know it's crunch time, because we used to get stressed out with family holidays. And I said, yeah, it's really important, and I need to get them. And he just looked at me and said, I'm not used to seeing you this persistent, but I said, well, it's me being me. And it was really kind of funny, actually, because we went by the store, and I was actually happy because it was Easter Sunday, and the store was open. And there were only like a couple of things of lilies left. And I said, I gotta grab them. We just gotta stop in Hyde Park, because that's where they were from. And he said, okay, we're gonna be late. I said, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm used to being fashionably late for a lot of stuff anyways. So I said, when we got to her house, I said, I'll be just only a minute. And he said, okay, that's what all you women say, he said to me. And I went and rang the doorbell, and she opened the door. I said, listen, I have to wish you a happy Easter from Uncle Larry, and here are lilies for you. She said, Karen, you didn't know that, but that was my favorite flower that Larry used to give me on Easter Sunday. So I was very happy that she could take all the information. I said, he is always around you, and he will always be with you. And she thanked me very much, because I had to skedaddle, so I had to get to my late mother's house. And I said, okay, but here you go and bye, and thank you for sharing that with me too. There was another time with something special I'm going to share with everybody at home. When my brother-in-law at the time, he passed away really young, really young. And I said, okay. And when we were at the graveyard, you know, paying my respects, it was after a funeral and everything, but paying my respects to my late father, ex-father-in-law, we got to look for Johnny, and he used to be like across the way at the graveyard from where Papa was buried. But for some reason, they went over, he's not here. And I said, oh, all right. So I said to them, all right, he's not there, he's in the back. They said, okay. And so I said to them, all right. So they kept looking and looking and looking. And he said, I'm not there. I said, okay, but they're not listening to me, so I'm going to go sit in the car because it was kind of cold. At first, the day was really cold. And I heard all of a sudden, I found him, and he was, not only was he in the back, but he was at the end of the cemetery. And this would have been, you're going to hear from your loved ones from time and time again, maybe not all the time, but sometimes they will come back with more messages. And all of a sudden, when I woke up, spirit time, and it was like 3 in the morning, I saw these 2 little green turtles on my bed, and then they just disappeared. And I said, oh, I know who this was for, but knowing I couldn't talk to Chuck about it, I said, I know who I can call about these turtles, my brother-in-law, ex-brother-in-law, Bobby. With the clairvoyance part of it, can be very interesting sometimes. And I called him up the next day, because I kept hearing in my ear the whispers again. Turtles on the loose. And that could be them when they do whisper in your ear, very softly. Turtles on the loose. So I said, okay, so I'm going to call Bob. And when I called Bob up, I had to say to him, just to let you know, can you understand turtles on the loose from your late brother? He said, I know exactly what that is. And Johnny was a twin. And I know exactly what that message was. What had happened, Karen, was, I said, okay, fill me in, because I want to know. And he said, my 2 brothers, they were always up to cahoots with each other. Well, twins being twins, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, so what did they do? I blamed Chucky for that with the turtles, but it wasn't Chucky. When you told me about who it was, he said, I thought it was him. Like I said, I didn't mean to repeat, sorry about that. But anyways, getting back to what I was saying is, he said, I said, turtles on the loose. Well, they took my turtles out of the fishbowl they were in, and I couldn't find them for a couple of days. So the twins took them out, come to find out. And he looked everywhere, and he saw them underneath the couch. I forget what it was, because it was a good while back when he shared this with me. And I said, well, you found them, and now you owe your brother an apology. And it was just too funny. But Johnny was quite the hot ticket. I never got to know him physically, but I did get to know him throughout the years spiritually. And I said to you, see, you got to be careful, because you don't know if the person did something or not, and just to let you know that. And it takes a lot of energy, even to see like things they owned or symbols and stuff like that. It takes a lot of energy for people don't realize at home. So if you see like rosary beads or something out of your head, it's just symbolic with what the person used to do with you when you were here and things like that. So I just, filled in on little fun things too as I babble on. But but in a fun way. I love sharing with these things with you guys at home. And yeah, I said, and turtles on the loose, he said, yeah, that was a phrase with us, turtles on the loose. And I'm like, oh boy, and stuff like that. So, but I thank Bob for that, sharing that piece of information, because when Johnny passed away, it was a very first being to the wrong place at the wrong time, but I can't share that with them, it was personal. But anyways, I'm going to continue with my drawing, but these are just bits and pieces of stories I wanted to share with you guys at home tonight. And if you guys ever want to talk about anything to do with mediumship, feel free to call. I want to know, I think. And I just want to share some of that other stuff with you guys too, because those are some common questions, but very important questions that people want to know. And she had those olive round eyes. And she had knee trouble too, because where she was heavy and everything. And I'm not lightheaded anymore. She's trying to say that. Oh, and the woman that died when she had surgery, she said, I did not suffer. My crossing was so fast. Big, big lips. And there was something wrong with her lips, she's telling me. And she's out enjoying a good pizza, by the way, too. And that's who she is, and I have her with me. And she's enjoying, you know, living life to the fullest on the other side. And she got caught up with her mom. Now we're going darker with the hair. But it was an afro, like I said, a very full. Yeah, and the boy that was coming through with Mike earlier, I loved what he was coming. I'm like everybody's people that come through, but he had such that fun-loving, carefree energy and things like that. That it was like, you know, oh, that's good to know. Just the way he was saying, Mr. Woods, Mr. Woods. And Mike and I were hard on each other, but in a good way. It was coming from a good place. Somebody said to me a while ago, I wished I could see or hear or feel like you. I said, that's okay, because everybody has that gift in their own way. So I said, you know, maybe you do the message work differently, which I wanted to tell you guys, all of us mediums work differently. You know, like one might have the gift to see, one might have the gift to feel, and one might have the gift to just sure knowing and stuff like that. And it's just we all work differently as mediums, and we're all at different levels with our gifts, but it's for you guys, for us to share with you guys as mediums. And I had to fill you in a little bit with that too. And, you know, we just all work in different ways. Just to fill you in on that. And with this nice lady that came on the paper, she was telling me she was a teacher. And it was really kind of funny how she was too. When she was in the room, everybody knew it. It's just a feeling on that too. But I, you know, any kind of knowledge I like to give, you know, and sometimes when a death happens unexpectedly, like Noelle's friend, it is a shock, you know, and sometimes it just happens that way, you know, and I just want to tell that to Noelle, just to let you know and fill you in on with that too, that I was glad that she found peace within. And I want to thank everybody for calling, that called in tonight, and I hope what I shared was a help of some kind. I know it was all over the place and stuff like that, but that's me just being me and stuff like that. And I just, you know, I feel very blessed, you know, that, you know, I can share my gifts with you guys at home, and that you welcome me in your homes once a month. And if you ever have any questions and you want to know, you know, my show is on next month, so just feel free to call the station and things like that. But I was glad I got to explain a little bit about the spontaneous deaths with them, you know, with you guys. So sometimes it will happen spontaneously like that. Just to let you know, our loved ones are gone but not forgotten, and just a thought away. And they're always extending that eternal love from the other side. Just to, you know, love never dies, like I said. And our loved ones are there to greet us when it's our time to go. Unless, you know, sometimes, unfortunately, things do happen in life. If you're thinking on suicidal thoughts, there's a number you can call anytime, any day or night, that you're not alone. You know, just let you know, I had to figure in on that, because it's coming up on that tough time of the year again. And, you know, just to, you know, let you know that there is help out there that you can get 24/7, you know, and that you're not alone. Just to let you know that. I want to thank my crew for coming in. Thank you guys. Just to Miss Michelle. She's not in the studio using up all the ink this time. But yeah, it was just too funny. And I hope what I shared with you guys tonight was some kind of a help. Just let you know that I'm a little disoriented right now, because sometimes it takes me a little while to get back, you know, and stuff like that when I do spirit communication and things like that, because I'm feeling the way that people passed away when they died. So just to let you know that too as well. And just remember, if you have a gift, chances are somebody in your family has the gift, an older generation family member. But back in the 70s, like in my generation, you just didn't talk about such things. It was like, shh, you don't meant to talk about that stuff. And our loved ones are gone but not forgotten, and just a thought away. Wishing everybody lots of love and light. And again, thank you to my crew, and go home and enjoy the nice night.